Hey friends, Susan here. We are trying a new camera setup tonight, and I will see how that goes. Right now I'm playing my intro, and it looks like it's working, so yay! That means good things for us. It means we might actually be able to complete our project tonight. Oops. Alright, so we're going to transition over to live. Let me just double check and make sure it did that. Okay, yay. Tonight I am going to be making 4 cards using the Pretty Pumpkins bundle, and that includes this set of stamps and this, oops, I've got some of the stamps on blocks already, and this set of coordinating dies. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way and show you the cards we're going to make. Oh, the other thing we're using, in addition to the Pretty Pumpkins, is the Harvest Meadow 12 by 12 Designer Series paper. And I'm sorry, I know you're getting glare. This is just such a pretty set of paper that I just couldn't resist using this. Okay, so we're going to make 4 cards, as I said. These are, with the exception of the last one, pretty basic and easy cards that you can make on your own. And the way my Class to Go works is, when you purchase the bundle and the paper, I will then send you the kit to do the 4 cards. Everything's all pre-cut. You just have to do your own stamping and cut the pumpkins that are stamped. But you will have the tools to do that when you purchase. Okay, so this might take a few minutes. So we're going to start with card number 1, which I ended up really liking. Let me put out my little instructions up ahead so I can tell you the cut sizes. Okay, so I call this the sliced angle wheat card. And what I did was I cut 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, the wheat and then this soft succulent with writing on it, and I cut those at 4 inches wide and 3.5 inches tall. And now I'll show you what I did with those. I gotta pull all my little parts out of my basket here. Okay. Almost. Yay. Alrighty, let me just check this and see if I've already sprayed it. I can't tell. Okay, so what I did was I cut, as I said, at 4 by 3.5. And then on this piece, which I'll show you here, what I did was I cut from this corner and I measured up 1 3/8 inch, like so, up the side to 1 3/8 inch, and I did a little tick mark, and then I used my paper trimmer and I cut that little line off. So now I'm going to grab my ruler, which is right here, and the reason I need a ruler is because this is my top piece and I want this to be, there's 5 1/4. I want this to be 5 1/4 inches tall. And it also gives me the advantage of having a straight edge there to push that up against. So, my glue is stuck together, which I guess is a good thing. Alright, so I'm going to add a little strip of glue right down the back there. Go back over here to 5 1/4. It moved. I moved it with my thumb. That's so not good. Okay, 5 1/4. Oh, Susan. Okay, guys, I'm seeing how this night is going to go. Hopefully it'll get better. Okay, there we go. So, 5 1/4. And then this will adhere right on the front, right there. So, let me get rid of this guy. Add a little adhesive on the back, And we'll pull the card back in, and I'll show you what I did. And I don't have the stamp handy. That means it's in one of the other boxes. Don't you hate it when that happens? I wonder if I stamped them all and put it away thinking that I was done with it. That's probably the case. Uh-oh. Alright, that's okay. Let me just peek in here and see if the stamp's in here. Yes, it is. Okay. This is the stamp that we used for this pumpkin. And the color I used was crushed curry, because I like the crushed curry. And I just stamped that onto white cardstock, and then I used the coordinating die to cut that out. Now what I'm going to do is adhere this to the front of the card using some stamping dimensionals. Oh, and you're getting to see that I changed colors after deciding what to do. Okay, so stamping dimensionals. I actually had a little bit of lace going across the diagonal line, and I wasn't feeling it. So I went ahead and removed that. Okay, that goes there. And then I took some bumblebee cardstock, and I forgot to prep this, so you get to see the live thing here. Alright, I took some bumblebee cardstock and I cut out my shimmery pumpkin. And what I used for that, because I do like to show you, is this die, which is part of the set. Okay, he fits right over there. So I cut him out of this 6x6 specialty paper. Very, very shiny. You're going to get a horrible, horrible, horrible glare off of it. This can be yours. It's a package of 8 6x6 sheets for free with Sale-A-Bration through the end of this month. So till the end of September, you can get this free when you order the stamp bundle and the paper, and then you'll get this extra paper free, and I will send you the kit. So this is actually a really good time. Sale-A-Bration, there's other items you could pick if you'd rather not have this, but Sale-A-Bration is really, really a good time for customers because they are able to, get things they like and then earn free products for every $50 they spend while they're getting things they like. And then in addition to that, you get a card kit from me. I'm trying to decide if I've already sprayed this. And the thing is, I don't think I have. So you're going to see my ugly, this is what the one side looks like. Let's turn it over. Okay, so what I did was in here, I have mixed some crushed curry ink with pure alcohol. Just like rubbing alcohol, not the kind you drink, that other kind. And I decided I wanted to color this a little more golden. So you can color, and I don't want it to be too bright, so I'm going to dab some off. You can color this specialty paper by, just spraying it with the mixture of ink and alcohol. And I thought, ooh, that is so fun. So yeah. Now, I hope I didn't get it too wet because it will interfere. Normally, you would wait for this to dry before you move on. But I wanted to show you how easy that was, so I went ahead and did not do it. I, did it for you as opposed to waiting till later. Okay, I'm hoping that I'll be able to stick this together. I'm just going to use some dimensional edges because I want just a little bit bigger piece since I just sprayed this. I want to be sure it really stays put. Alright, and here, oops, you know what, I might need to move that over just a little. Okay, I'm just going to take that one off. Ignore that. And this is what happens when I go live, you know. I have all these little oops moments. So I guess we call that keeping it real. Okay, so I'm going to attach this guy right down here. You now see why I had the little oops. Okay, so the other thing I used, because it was the closest I had, oops, that's not the right one. I accidentally put the wrong one away. Okay, the other thing I used was this bumblebee ribbon that I have left over from last year, just to add a little bow. And let me get this closed, put him out of my way. Alright, so I'm just going to tie a small bow, trying to keep my hands on screen. Okay, that looks not bad. Alright, let me just trim this edge. And what I want to do is adhere it right here. So I'm going to grab some glue dots and my piercer and lift that glue dot and put it on here. Hope it sticks, that it's not, you know, still too wet, but I think it's okay. Spread out my bow just a little and adhere that right on there. Okay, now I need to stamp our sentiment. And, oh, I already did. That's why I don't see the stamp. Boy, I tell you what, I'm just like with it here tonight, sort of, kind of, almost. All right, I'm going to cut this down just a little bit, and maybe just a little bit more. And I think I'm going to grab my paper trimmer from up above, and I want some of this bottom part cut off. But I have to be very careful. Let me put this up so you can actually see it. I have to be very careful that I don't cut my word off. Let's see how that looks. That actually looks pretty good. Okay, yay. Thank you, paper trimmer. Now the other thing I'm going to try and use, and I may have cut the edges too short, is this Pick-a-Punch Banners punch. This is something that I use quite frequently, I will admit. Alright, and put that right up in there. I'm not going to go all the way to the edge, simply because I cut it kind of short. And same thing on this side. Right there. And the pieces just flew out at me. Alright, yay. And so what I want to do is put that right down there. But again, I need the adhesive. So I think I'm going to just grab this edge piece right here. And yes, I know I'm wasting adhesive. Those of you who are like, what is she doing? She should be using dots. Yes, yes, I should, but I'm trying to hurry. Okay. And I do need one more little dot right over here. I don't want this edge to kind of sag down. There we go. And then the last thing I'm using on this are the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels. And I really like, I didn't think I'd use them, but I've really grown to like these kind of golden color gems. Okay, so I'm just going to use, and I know I'm supposed to use 3 or 5, but okay, I'm breaking tradition and using 4 so that I have 2 at the top and 2 at the bottom. And that, my friends, is card number 1. And the best feature of this card, in my opinion, other than the slant, is spraying this specialty paper with the alcohol ink. Wow, having trouble talking. So, to get away tonight and do this, I want you to all be impressed. I left a sink full of dirty dishes. I'm such a bad wife. Though I did roast a turkey breast tonight, so really I'm not a bad wife. Okay, card number 2. Let me rearrange. So far I'm not too messy. Get rid of the ink I won't use again. Alright, card number 2. Oh look, there's the end that flew off. Is this one. And this card uses more supplies than the last. This card I used a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I cut it in half at 4 1/4, and then I scored it at 5 1/2 for my basic card. I also used a 3/8 strip of paper, a 2" by 5 1/2" strip of this really pretty floral, and then the same Misty Moonlight I did like 2 inches or 2 1/8 by 5 1/2, and I ran this through the embosser. Let me see if I have that embossing folder here to show you. I do. Okay, and I ran it through the smaller die cut machine because I used this narrow embossing folder. And I really like the leaf pattern, and I thought that looked really good. So that's what I used to make this one. I also used this back die, this biggest die on the bottom from the Stitch So Sweetly set. And I just did that to have a base to put my pumpkins. Alright, so let me keep gathering things out here. I have my stamp all mounted and my paper to stamp on. Alright, making progress, I promise. Let me just grab everything else out so that I'm all set to go. Oh, and there's the die we will need. Okay, let me get rid of these dies. I tried to get rid of our ribbon by accident. Okay, first thing first, we have to stamp. So I am using Memento Tuxedo Black ink, which you can get from Stampin' Up. And the reason I'm doing this is the Memento will not run when you use the Stampin' Blend alcohol markers. If you're just using like Stays-On, it will run. So don't do that. And as I might need that again, I'm just going to put that up there. Okay, so to color these, I used some basic colors. For starters, for the stems, I just used ivory. You could use, browns, you could use crumb cake. I just was kind of going basic, so I thought ivory. Alright. Then the second set of colors I used the dark Soft Succulent and the light Evening Evergreen. And that's for the leaves. And there's just 2 of them. So yay. Alright, so I start by doing some dark color over the veins. And then I know that this is like on the bottom, so it's not getting as much light. And this one's kind of going down the edge, so I won't give it as much light there either. Okay, and I don't do quite as thorough of a job on the leaves as I do, say, the pumpkins, but they're not really the focus of the entire thing. They're just kind of a side product. Okay, so we're having a rainstorm tonight, and I really hope that nothing goes out. But if I should suddenly disappear, just know that it's thundering and lightning and, doing things. Actually, it's cleared up a little bit, but just in case. Okay, now what I'm going to use are the light Cajun Craze, the light pumpkin pie, and the dark pumpkin pie. And I'm going to start with the pumpkin pie. And same thing, I'm going to, where I have lines, or where I think the pumpkin would be darker because of shadows or whatever, that's where I'm starting with the pumpkin pie. And I remember that the pumpkin's curved, so I'm trying to build in some curves. And then I think it's going to be shadowed there because this guy's in front of him. And here we go. And this is an edge, so I kind of think my edges are going to be darker. I don't know. Alright. Alright, last guy. Now what happens is I do this, but I keep coming back and forth while I'm doing it. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to grab the light Cajun. I'm going to use the narrow end, and I'm going to make it even darker some places. Just a little bit down here at the bottom, and then back here where it's in the back. So I'm just introducing a little more shadow effect maybe. And oops, I went outside the line. That's never good. So I'm going to grab our little ink remover, or color lifter is what that's actually called. And this may or may not work. It's probably going to be okay after I do this a couple of times. I call this my oops eraser. Okay, did I finish with this? Let me just add a tiny bit more shadowing over here. Oh, and maybe, you know what? How about underneath that leaf? I bet it would be darker there because the leaf is blocking the light. Okay, now I'm going to take my light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to use the other end, and I'm going to color again. And what this does is, A, it fills in those lighter places I have purposely left lighter, but B, it kind of blends. It works to blend, because these are stamping blends, it works to blend the colors together. When you do dark, then light over it, and then I may have to come back again, because like right down here, that's going to need more blending, and I know that, but I actually like how this is looking, and right around here is going to need more blending. Okay, so I'll get back to those in just a second. I almost did these pumpkins in white, like the albino pumpkins that you see, but I decided to be more traditional. But it was a close thing. I actually like those white pumpkins. I think they're kind of cool. Okay, there we go. I'm going to call that happy. Though, yeah, I see a couple little areas I want to remove some color. Right there. Right there on that stem. And if that doesn't come out nicely, I can just always go over it with a little bit of brown. Alright, and then the other place is right in here. I want my light to show a little more. So I'm going to just try and lift a little color there. Okay. Now I'm going to get out the little cut and emboss machine. Okay, and the plates. And here we go. Oops, I grabbed the one that I don't need. And I missed one that I do. It slid back. Sorry, I keep this and its big brother in the in a bottom little pull-out on my calyx type shelves. And so I was bent over with my head down. Now, one of my little tricks, because I hate it when these move, it can really give me a grumpy day when I go to cut something and I cut it crooked. So a little crooked you can fix, a whole lot of crooked you can't. So I use either the purple tape or this kind of crafting painter's tape. And, you know, it occurs to me, you can't see this. Alright, so I use this, and forgive me if my head gets in this shot, but I want to be sure it's lined up where I want it. The die, not my head. Okay. I'm going to hold that together. And when you use this, one of the little tricks we've learned is have the edges so the sandwich pieces aren't even, and it starts through a lot easier. See? I didn't have to struggle with it at all, and it just rolls right through. Okay. Now, I don't know if I need this again later. I honestly don't remember if there's anything else I didn't already cut, because I was going to go live yesterday, and I worked on my kit over the weekend, And I had everything all finished, and then I ended up with grandchildren last night, which is always a good time, but totally threw my plans. All right, so to assemble this, remember I said I cut this piece as a base for this. And on my card, I did not elevate these, but you know what? Oh, no, I think I did. Never mind, I take that back. I did. You like that? Never oh mindo. I don't know what I did. It's the disadvantage of putting things together ahead of time, so that by the time I go to present it, I'm like, now what did I do for that? Okay, I hope I didn't space these out too far. Oh, the other thing about this card, I did not do a sentiment on the front of mine, and the reason I didn't is because even though this is quite fallish looking, I might, decide I want to use it as a birthday card or a something card. Oh, my daughter's texting me here in the background. Not a good time, my honey. And that would be the same daughter who made me miss my live last night. We had kind of an emergency board meeting, a school board meeting, because of COVID. We have 21% of our student body for the county out quarantined, and about 1.5%, I think, is the number that have actually tested positive, but the others have all been exposed to someone with COVID, so they're out. And there's a ton of teachers that are out, and it was a special meeting to see what the school board was going to do. And I probably shouldn't say this, but what they decided to do was pretty much nothing. They have the what can we do? I apologize again. I may have to take a pause and let her know I'm doing my live. Okay, let me put this on here. Alright, so I'm going to put this all the way to the bottom and over just a tiny bit. I'm not putting it all the way to the outer edge. And then I'm going to do the same with this. And I know you saw how I glued the goldenrod piece onto the edge. Isn't this paper just so pretty? I really like this paper. Okay, and there's that. This card base could be used for so many different things. I just love this simple design. Okay, we have some doilies in our line, and I just grabbed a doily out, and if you order my to-go kit, you will receive the doily that you need in your kit when I mail it to you, or if you're local, when I deliver it to you. So I just wanted you to know what this looks like. Okay, so I'm using this line right here and putting the corners on that to let it be straight. And then I'm going to put some more adhesive on the back of this guy. I have some larger ones someplace that could work better, be faster. There we go. I love these Stampin' Dimensionals. I will admit I go through way too many of them, and I treat the large ones like they are just, to be cherished. Okay. Alright guys, I'm going to have to tell her what's going on. I apologize. On my Facebook. Alright. Okay, sorry about that. Now, the other thing I have on this are some sequins I found in my stash. These are actually from, I wrote it down so I could tell you. I think it's the Artistry, oh there it is. Artistically Inked, maybe, I think, or Artistry something or other sequins. And they should be in the annual catalog, or online you'll find them just, in sequins or other embellishments. And this comes with a set of different colors, and they're on sheets with their colors. Okay, now the last, and as I said, I didn't do a sentiment here, but I'm just going to grab something on my desk. Let's pretend this is wider. If I wanted a sentiment, I could do it here. I could do it up here. I could do it over here. So I just want you to know there's lots of options for doing your sentiment. I just didn't do one yet. I was going to wait and see how I actually use the card. Last thing. This is also available in the annual catalog and with regular products. And this is a double baker's twine of a really pretty, it's probably Misty Moonlight blue and white. And then it has a little silver in there, which I like. It adds just a touch of sparkle. So, let me cut off up there. Let me find... Oh, sorry, I was supposed to be getting things out of my way, and I keep messing up and putting them in the wrong place. All right, glue dot again. Okay, this time I'm going to have to fold this glue dot over before I take it off there. Because, yeah, that worked. I want it to be smaller than it would normally be, because I want it to stick just to my baker's twine and not to, the envelope or whatever else I might add on here later. So I just want that right back there. And there we go. That's card number 2. And I'll show you the original card number 2. Not bad. I actually think I blended better on this one than I did here. Okay, so that's card 2. Trying to wonder what I did with card 1 from a minute ago. That would have been nice to have kept around so I could show you all of them at the end. Oh yay, I just found it. Alright. Yeah, let's put that up there. Alright, now we're on to card 3. Card 3, I made a change. So I assembled this and I thought, it's okay. It's not my fave. And I realized that part of it is this background paper. I love, 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 love the print on this background paper. So what I did was I went ahead and I cut the same thing again, only instead of picking up this mustard color, I went with the pumpkin pie color in here. And we're going to make this a lot brighter. So instead of being like that, it's going to be more like that. And I think this is going to look better. Or at least that's my hope. Let me move that card out of the way. So what I have are 3 basic pieces. I used the, pretty sure this is called Very Vanilla. Where are you? Yes, Very Vanilla. And I took an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I cut it across at 5.5 inches down, so I was getting 2 cards out of this. I then scored it at 4 1/4, and I'm turning it landscape instead of straight up and down. This I cut at, I wrote it down, I cut it 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 because I wanted just a teeny tiny little frame. Then I took more of that vanilla and I cut this at 3 3/4 by 5. Then the other thing I did was I ran it through with this great embossing folder we have where it kind of looks like plaster, and it just gives it some nice texture. Now on the previous card I used a little bit of the same color ink in the background, but I think what I'm going to do for this one is maybe find my pool party and see how this goes. And we'll try it on a little piece of background here first and see what we think. Very light. Yeah, that's what I want, is very light. Let me just make sure. And just to give it, yeah, just, I don't know if you can see that, I'm just giving it a little bit of a background area so it pops up a little. These are our blending brushes. These are great, and I have like 12 of these because I have one for blues, one for reds, one for pinks, one for purples, one for greens, etc., etc., one for browns, and then I can wash them, and they're really great. So yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do here now is simply glue this down. And when I was putting this card together, I almost used this side of this designer series paper and went with different colors, but I really like this print, so it won. It got to be face up. And same thing here. I'm going to just glue this on here and pop everything else. Oops, sorry. I peeked over to see if I did ribbon on this card, and I don't see any ribbon on this card. I don't know what I was thinking. Alright, so I used the same 2 pumpkin pieces I've already showed you. I used the pumpkin stamp and stamped it in pumpkin pie and cut it with the die, and then I just used some pumpkin pie cardstock and stamped it. Okay. I have a sentiment, some gems. Oh, guess what? We're going to color some more. I guess I was showing you the colors I used here also. The other thing I did was I took the leaf and the blossom, and I stamped those in Early Espresso, and this is what I stamped the pumpkin in. I stamped those in Early Espresso, and I also did the sentiment in Early Espresso. So while I have this out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, and then we're going to color the leaves. Check that. Looks good. Okay. Trying to make this on here straight. Let's hope. Guess what? I don't like that. We get a second chance. Alright. Better. Okay. And I'm going to punch the end again. I think I'm going to use this side. Alright. I'm going to have it come out to the edge, so I'm not going to punch the other side. Alright, let me move that guy out of the way. Okay, so to assemble him, this time I'm putting this one in the back, this more up front. This is going to go down here, and the other thing we're going to have on this one are these leaves. And now I did not do serious in-depth shading and stuff on these. You can if you want to. I'm just using this succulent, soft succulent light marker, Stampin' Blend, and coloring my leaves in. And this kind of, coordinates with the background color there, which I like. I'm using the smaller end, because, no, I guess I'm using the larger end. The larger end, you get more of a paint effect. The smaller end, you actually have more control, so I should probably be using the other end, but, Apparently, I like to live dangerously tonight. Alright. Yay! So, there's that. And then I decided to use the pale papaya, and this is the dark pale papaya, for my pumpkin blossom. Okay, and this has the opportunity for me to go back and do shading again. But again, this is just kind of not the main part of what I'm doing. So, I'm not going to do that. Now, I wanted to use this, but I wanted to not have it overdone with leaves. So, what I did was I cut this in half. And trim down there. And half of it will go up here, and the other half will go over here. Now, let's put this all together. I'm going to start with gluing this guy down. You know, I think I don't know if I told you this earlier. I meant to. You could use these for birthday cards. You could do them for Thanksgiving cards. My anniversary's in the fall, you know. They would be nice fall anniversary cards. They're nice thinking of you cards, etc. So lots of opportunity to use these other than just Halloween or Thanksgiving. Now, my daughter, who was texting earlier, has second graders that she teaches. So I will probably be using some of these pumpkins, this one in particular, and making treats for her class, which I think will be fun. Okay, I'm just debating if I want to raise this a little, and you know what? I think I do. I did not on the original, but here I do. Making sure I liked which side I had up. Stamping Dimensional is sticking to my fingers. Not good. Okay, I'm going to pull these off. Okay, and I'm going to put this again right down, even with the edge of the Very Vanilla, and even across the bottom, but I want that corner underneath that pumpkin. There we go. And then what I'm going to do with these guys is add them on right here. So, not on top of the pumpkin guy, right there. And the other one, oh, it's here. I'm like, okay, what did I do with him? He got stuck in the adhesive underneath. Alright, this guy, I'm just going to use one. I'm going to have him kind of going down there, and I might just put a touch of glue underneath that corner. Of course, I'm going to have to sit here and hold it for a second, but I'm doing that because I don't want it to fly around or bend when it goes into the envelope or out or whatever. Okay, the last thing I'm going to use on this card are these gold gems, and these are also available in the catalog, and I really like these. They're so elegant looking. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to show you the comparison of the two cards. This is the second. This was the original. I do like this better. I think the color change and the shape of the tag change were good changes. I hope you like it also. Because that's when you purchase your kit or purchase your items and get your kit. These are the colors I'll be going with. Okay, last card of the evening is going to seem difficult, and it's really not that difficult, but it's going to seem like it. So let's have a look at the cards. I'm moving things around here. This is the card. It has a belly band that wraps around with ribbon. It has 3 pumpkins, and it has the gather together. So this belly band comes off. And you know, I used this little die cut, but now, you know how I like to rethink things after I do them. I'm wondering if it would have looked better if I hadn't have done that. And this is the base card. It's kind of an easy angle thing that we have going. And I'll tell you how I did this. First of all, whenever I make a new Fun Fold feature card, I always do a mock-up, and right on that mock-up, all of the instructions and measurements and etc. So here is this messy thing, is the mock-up for that. And I have a whole folder of things like that. So for this one, this is what it looks like just in white, cut. Let me get out all my pieces and parts, and I'll show you what we do. Okay. So the first thing we do is we take a piece of 5.5 by 11 cardstock. You then score it at 3 3 3/8 and 7 5/8, and that creates your sides. Now that I have this buried, I need my cutter. Got to dig it out. And I have ink on a stamp I'm trying to move. Okay, so to create this next part, what we have are these angle cuts. And the angle cuts are easier than they sound, I promise. So to do the top one right here, you start at the corner with your cutter and you cut down to this line. And the way you do that is you put that corner right on the cut line and you put this corner out on your 1.5 inch line and you cut. And that's the top. And then for the bottom, you cut from this tip to this corner at 1 inch. So not as big of an angle. Now you get a chance to see that again because I've got to cut the other side. So we go with the score line in the cut gutter there, or on the cut line. This goes on the 1.5 inch line. And if you're using the Stampin' Up cutter, this edge is 1.5 inches. So, alright, so there's that. And then again, I go from the cut tip and put this on the 1 inch line. See how easy that is when you know where to measure and how to measure? Yay. Alright, so that's the base card. Now, we have these two pieces, and I'm trying to make sure that my writing is facing up. Alright, I put them face to face or back to back because by doing that I can do two at once. These are cut at 3 1/8 by 5 1/4. So same thing. I'm going to try and keep these together tight. I'm going to put the corner out here on the 1.5 inch line. I'm going to put the tip right on the cut line. And we're going to cut. And because I have them back to back, I'm cutting two different sides at the same time. Alright, same thing again. We're going to put the cut tip on the cut line, and we're going to put the bottom corner on the 1 inch line. And we're going to cut. And those are our card pieces. Now, if you want a piece to go inside this card, it will show at the top. Sorry, those were my notes that were kind of scribbled down. If you put a piece of just basic white in here, and this is too long, but you know, pretend I cut this, it will show at the top a little bit. So just beware of that. That one was a little wide because it was actually the width of the card. If I were going to do something inside, I would cut it at 4, so you had 1/8 of an inch, 4 by 5 1/4. So you have a little 1/8 of an inch frame all the way around. Alright, so now what we do is we just adhere these on here. And the thing I like to make sure is that this edge looks straight. Because I'm going to admit the angles are just off a tiny bit, but try as I might, I couldn't get them exact. And then I remembered, better done than continuing to try to do perfect. So there we go. And besides, it looks good this way, so yay. All right, there's number one. I want you to know I played with this going, which side should I use? Which side should I put up? What color base card should I use? I had a real tough time deciding colors with this one. Okay. And this time I'm going to do it this way so that I'm measuring, or I'm making sure two things line up now. This edge and the bottoms going across. I want the same distance from the bottom so that I get a nice line. Okay. Now, I took a piece of designer series paper from that set and I cut, what is this? I think this is 1 1/4. I don't think this is 1 1/2. I don't know what I cut. I cut something. Yeah, I think this is 1 1/4. And then I just scored it in a couple of spots because we're making a belly band to go around. Okay, so it's going to go like that. And I can go ahead and put some adhesive on this. And there we go. And the other thing I can do is come back here a little bit just to be sure that that's hidden, because it'll be hidden under the decoration. Just cut some of that off. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I cut a length of the soft succulent ribbon, and I'm going to tie this in a bow. I'm trying to remember which side it ties on. So I guess it ties wherever I want it to, since I don't see my original card. Yeah, which means I've just shoved it somewhere. There it is, and yes, I did tie it on this side, so yay. Okay, and I don't want to tie this too tightly or I'll have a really hard time getting the belly band to slide up and down. Okay. Alright, so for my card, the original one, I used this on here. But then while I was showing it to you, I wondered, I used this die cut, I wondered what it would be like to not use the die cut and just basically have these guys on here, if it would be more attractive and less busy. The only place I see that being a problem might be on this open weave. Let me turn this ribbon just a little more. Slide it around there. Okay. Oh, that same specialty paper, I used the die and cut this pumpkin. And he's kind of open weave, and he will glue on right over here. Okay, and then we have this guy that would go kind of right there in the middle, and then this one would go over here, only I've got them way too spaced out apparently. Alright, and alright. So, what do we think of this? Or do we prefer it on the cream? I'm kind of not preferring it on the cream, but I'm not loving this either. This is what happens when oh, this needs to come down some. Alright, I've got this guy there. Maybe if I put that behind and just let him be up front? I don't know. I need to decide. I think I don't want to use this tonight. And I'm not sure why. I'm not loving it. And maybe it was the color. Maybe it was the wrong color altogether. What do you think of that? Possible? Let me sneak a little bit of cardstock down here and see what is that color. That could work. And this is the next one down. No, he's too dark. So, do I have those dies out that I used? Oh, they're the hippo dies. That's what I cut this piece with, was Is this one? Yeah, the Hippos and Friend die. So, I have him out. And you know what? What if I don't use the largest? I'll use the medium. And we'll just give this a quick go and see if we like it. And if we don't, we still have options. All right, little guy cutter again. Okay, this time I'll put this up here where you actually see what I'm up to. Now, the good news about not having anything stamped is I don't have to tape that down. I just have to put it on there. And boom, here we go. Except I didn't layer it loosely enough. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. And boom, here we go. I have paper on my desktop, and it's trying to slide. Okay, let's see what this looks like. Trash, dies, close this guy up. I do like that drawer right there because it makes it so easy to get my machines just in and out real quick. You know what? I already like this better. It matches the background better. Okay, I think that's the ticket. It's do use a background, but it doesn't have to be as big as the other one was, nor does it have to be as light colored as the other one was. And I still don't know if I want this guy in the front or the back. But yeah, I like this better, and I hope you do too, because I am going to put this together and then put it on there. Okay, for this one, I'm going to use liquid glue, and I have this fine tip, and I will tell you that Stampin' Up sells this, a very fine tip liquid glue also. And just unscrew that. It's got this tiny little tip, and you can put just a little bit of glue on very small areas. Now, the only reason I was using the other glue instead of this one is my other one dries a little faster, so I get some immediate hold to it. Alright, down in there. And yes, my old lady eyes are having trouble seeing that. It's so small. There we go. But every now and then, you know, you just get lucky and hit. So that's kind of what happened. Alright, I'm going to put this. Pretend that's straight right there. Pull this guy down a little and put him right there. Let me see if I have any glue sticking out the back. I don't. Ooh, but I found a piece that didn't come out. Come on. There you go. Alright, I still think this edge might need a little more glue, but who can tell, because I just saw it was wet under there, so I may have just made an oops. Whatever. There we go. Trying to put this so that I know it's straight. Alright, this big boy, I'm going to definitely use some dimensionals on him. And since I'm still deciding what to do with that left side, I may leave him dimensional-less over there for a moment. Guys, I have no idea how long I've been on here. I hope it's not like, you know, forever, and you're like, oh my gosh, is she ever going to get off here? Alright, so I can do it that way, with this on the top, or I can do this underneath. You know what? I'm going to be different and do it underneath. And the reason I'm going to do it underneath is because I might do my sentiment differently also. Alright, 1, 2, 3 will do it. Right there. Okay, have those on there. Then the other place I need to do dimensionals is going to be on this. So, let me see how far out he's going to go. About ½ an inch or so in. So I'm going to take some dimensionals and put them on either side of the ribbon. That'll keep the ribbon in the channel so I can move it if I need to. And it will also allow this little piece we cut to stick really well. So let me pull the tabs. I'm always afraid I can skewer the big ones and pull the tabs off really quick, but I'm afraid to do that with the little ones. I'm afraid I'll pull them up. Okay, let me pull this ribbon again over here out of the way. Let's find our pumpkins. Let's get the ribbon off of that. And I'm trying to look at where it's lined up. It's crooked. Doggone it. I hate it when it goes on crooked, and I wasn't ready for it to go on all the way. Okay. Guy, don't give me a hard time. Okay, better. Had to convince it was going to wiggle. You will wiggle, you will. Now, the belly band holds the card closed. I think you have figured out is the whole point of this. And I did not use a lot of other embellishments on here, but I did stamp a sentiment. So I have just literally a scrap piece of this same cardstock. Put that out of the way. I'm going to find where I left the sentiment. And initially I used a very dark green to stamp this, but I'm wondering if it will show up better if I use this same espresso brown. We will see, because I have my evening evergreen up there if I change my mind. And lid, 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 where are you? There you are. Looking for the lid for the glue. I left it out. Okay, lid on. Paper cutter. My trimmer did not want to come to me. Alright. Yay for having a straight edge on here. And I am at a place where you are not seeing well. Okay, and then, I don't trust that edge to be really straight, so I'm going to cut it. And use this side. And let me see. Yes, had to see where that fell in there. And that looks pretty good. Now, initially, I cut this, but I feel like it sort of just blends in. So I don't want it to just blend in. So, you know what? I might cut this just a tiny bit tighter. Tiny, tiny bit. Not much. Yeah, right at that line. I have an idea. It may not work. It may work. You just never know. That one's up there. Yeah. All right. So I managed to squeeze off about another 1/8 of an inch. Okay. What if... Now I'm going to have to cut it. Except now do I have it too tight to cut it? Guys, oh no. Let's hope not. Alright, so literally you take your scissors and you kind of cut around the shape of the letters. You know, I promise you, I remember doing this years ago and not liking how it looked and not using it. And then all of a sudden it became the thing and I'm like, hey, that's really pretty cute. So I don't know what happened in between, but I remember doing this and just not liking it at all. Okay. Yeah, sorry I'm quiet, but you know, even my gift of gab runs out sometimes. Rarely, but sometimes. So I want to talk to you, by the way, while I'm just cutting here, about the Stampin' Up opportunity. And I laugh because I say it like, I feel like I'm, when I say it like that, I feel like I'm, you know, the Amway salesperson or something like that. And that's not really how I feel about this. how I feel about Stampin' Up! Is it's products that I love, that, it feeds my hobby, definitely has kept me sane as we have quarantined, and, my mother passed away, and I, had this to do, and that's been so good. Right now, we have a joining special, and it's our normal joining special is the best deal in the catalog, because you always get 25% off, plus you get free shipping. So the way our normal joining deal works is you pick 100 and up to 125 even. So it's like $124.95 is what I tell people, or $124.99. You pick that amount of any product you like, and from the catalog, any of our current catalogs. So it could be, the fall mini, or it could be the annual, or it can be any combination thereof. So you pick out the products you want, and Stampin' Up! Will ship those to you, and they will pay the shipping. And in addition to that, $125 in product, did I mention you're getting that for $99 and tax only? They will throw in some catalogs and some invitations, and just if you decide you want to do this as a business, they're going to give you some stuff to get you started. If you don't want to do this as a business and you just want to do it as a hobby, that's fine too. We have a name for that. We call them our hobby demonstrators. And then those who want to do this as a business, we jokingly call it a jobby demonstrator. So I started as a hobby demonstrator, and I have transitioned to a jobby. And I like my little jobby. Right now, when you take that deal through September only, so don't dilly-dally, you can pick any of the new bundles in the fall catalog, the fall mini. You can pick a bundle for free. So your $125 for $99 suddenly becomes more like $175 worth of product for $25. You pick the one you like best because you will be using that in your own personal hobbying. Okay, I promise you that I still think this looks green, and I know I used the brown. So, I don't know if it's my eyes. Seriously, this still looks really green. So it's still blending. Maybe I should have used black. I don't know. Anyway, right now, you want to go ahead and do that. So, I guess my two things I have for you tonight are purchase my bundle and the paper and get, this great shimmer paper or any of the other products for free. Or buy the starter kit. Get everything I've used here tonight. Get, some of the paper. Get this bundle or any other bundle for free. You can purchase your paper trimmer if you don't have that. You can purchase this fabulous set of just dies. Whatever. Okay, you could get this free, and then you can pick another $125 worth of stuff. When I joined, I already had quite a bit of Stampin' Up! Product, so I got the Stamparatus, the stamping machine type thing. But anyway, it's a really good deal. Worst case scenario, next February you go back to being a customer, because they will give you through February to make your sales. And what are your sales? It's where you personally, or you and a friend or two, order $300 worth of stuff every 3 months. And that's it. And if you don't go beyond that, just take the kit and have a good time with your products and don't worry about it. There's no pressure. So right now is a really good time to join because you can pick any, I'm stretching. You can pick any of the bundles in this catalog. I'm going back to show you the bundles. These are the bundles. Look at this. Let's start in Bundle Land. Okay, Bundle Land. Snowflakes, gingerbread, stars, and if there's a check, that means I have it. The tidings, the Christmas season. Any of these bundles, you can pick one for free. And you will get the dies and the stamps. Or you'll get the stamps and the punch. This is one of my favorites, I'm just going to tell you. I did have a card sitting here that I just made with this. It's gorgeous. With this one, you get all of this, which is a really good deal, and it's super pretty. Okay, this is the one we're using tonight. There's Halloween. And that's it. So you can pick one of those for free. I have kept you way too long. So I'm going to show you again the 4 cards we made tonight and let you know if you have any questions. Just email me or leave me a comment and I will get back to you. Okay, I don't know if you can see all of these, but these are our cards we made tonight. And I like them, and you know what, this is growing on me. I think I like this much better than with this big vanilla piece back here. I'm going to have to take that one apart and change it, because that's what I do. Alright, I don't know that you can see all of those. These are our cards. Thanks for spending some time with me. Sorry I've gapped and kept you so long, but I hope you have a good night.